I stand before you as the son of a World War II serviceman who all but gave his life, was literally given up for dead by the doctors in that great struggle against evil, the Second World War. He left the peaceful part of the world that I still live in northwest New South Wales, in May 1940 to enlist with a feeling of dread that it was necessary, but a recognition that the moment demanded it. I left those peaceful slopes and plains, reluctant to recognise the seriousness of the moment, but determined to do all that I could to stand for the moment. My father was involved in nothing short of a civilisational moment. The Second World War nearly destroyed the democracies and freedom. The warning signs were there in the 1930s. One of them was rising anti-Semitism, and it was ignored. Extraordinarily, the whole mess was made infinitely worse because people refused to take a strong stand early on. Now, we pulled it off just, and then we realised the horrors of the gas chambers, of the final solution, of the very concept that the word genocide was invented for and which we no longer truly understand or apply honestly. I want to say to you, we are at another civilisational moment, and the longer we ignore it, the longer we refuse to stand against it, the more likely it will be that it will end badly. And the sooner we stand up, the sooner we can restore some sanity. Mark Leach asked me to say something about the way I would like Australia to be going forward. It is the Australia that my father almost gave up his life for. Let me make one comment about the German people who suffered terribly because of what the Nazis did. The casualties, the civilian casualties, were off the chart. But no one, least of all the Germans, would say now that was the Allies' fault. They would say it was the Nazis' fault. The Nazis started it. The Nazis should have stopped it. I'm sure you understand what I mean by that. I will say this for the Nazis: they tried to hide from their people in the world and the Jews what they were doing. There were no tears of joy streaming down their face at what was being done. And I will also say this: if there is one thing worse that saddens me more than those who are open in their anti-Semitism in Australia, it is those who hide behind their supposed disagreement with Israel when in reality they are anti-Semitic. And so I say this to you. I believe we should remember one group of wonderful people, I'm not one of their descendants, who came here and had a magnificent saying: the Irish never judge a person until you've walked a mile in their shoes. And until you understand the Holocaust, until you understand the real evil of racism, all of you people in academia who say that the great problem in the world today is racism, and then ignore it, the oldest and ugliest racism of all, when it's right under their nose, walk a mile in people's shoes and understand why the Jews feel as they do and why they are resolved to determine to preserve their homeland. Can I say to you that I look forward to a day when our children are taught how to think again, not what to think. I look forward again to a day when there is the intellectual and moral leadership in the country to recognise that Alexander Solzhenitsyn, the victim of an unbelievably vicious and nasty regime himself, his immortal words that the dividing line between evil is not between black and white, is not between man and woman, it is not between Jew and Gentile, it is not between Catholic and Baptist, it is somewhere across every human heart. And only when we recover that understanding may we find again that key to living harmoniously in the West that the great Jonathan Rabbi Sachs identified, and that was the willingness and an understanding on the importance of forgiveness, because none of us are perfect. And I look forward again, dare I say it, to some effective political leadership in this country. There has been a little, I want to be fair, you've seen some of it today, but there hasn't been enough, and there hasn't been enough from the top. And I recall Robert Menzies, our longest standing Prime Minister, who commented that democracy, in which he profoundly believed, I profoundly believe, my father profoundly believes in, is not a machine, it is a spirit in which we recognise that no matter our station in life, our wealth or lack of it, our power or lack of it, the colour of our skin, our gender, our age, no matter, all souls are equal in the eyes of heaven. And I finally say to you that Malcolm Muggeridge said the opening words in John's Gospel are the most beautiful words ever penned, and if Malcolm Muggeridge said it, we ought to take them seriously. Let me briefly summarise what I wanted to take out of them tonight. You will never displace darkness with darkness. You will only displace darkness with light. This is only the beginning. My final word, please understand this, don't go away home and think you've done your bit. We are engaged in a civilisational study, a moment. Let us be prepared to stay the course. Let us shed light and let us be committed to genuine love, even when that love has to be tough. Sometimes the reality is that I may have to say to you I disagree with you, not because I don't love you, but because I do.